These are the stories making headlines on CTV News tonight. Police are searching for 2 suspects involved in an attempted robbery in Hyattsville. More about the case ahead. But first, mothers and kids convene in the nation's capital to urge Congress to act on gun safety legislation.
Well, little children dressed up in cow costumes here at the United States Capitol. What are they doing here, and what are they trying to promote? I'm Sonia Srivastava. I'll have that story coming up next.
Mothers and kids take to the halls of Congress asking for stricter gun control laws. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Patricia Valone. Thank you for joining us. Well, it's not every day that you see little kids dressed in cow costumes walking the halls of Congress. The grassroots group Moms Rising is trying to send a message to lawmakers on gun safety. CTV's Sonia Srivastava explains.
Well, gun safety laws are expected to come up here in the next few months, and today these moms and these youngsters dressed up in cow costumes are trying to send a very strong message to members of Congress to not be cowed by the gun lobby. These super moms say the message is simple. They just want their little calves to be safe. Today, dozens of members of the group Moms Rising gathered on Capitol Hill to send a strong message to lawmakers that they're utterly committed.
We're making sure that Congress knows that moms haven't forgotten, that the daily violence that's still impacting communities across the nation with over 30 murders per day by guns is not okay.
Moms and their little ones roamed across the halls of Congress. It got a little tiring for some at times, but the mission was to keep moving. The group visited close to 30 lawmakers or members of their staff and dropped off "Don't Be Cowed by the Gun Lobby" keychains, stuffed cows, and booklets. 10-year-old Neil CYRUS also joined in the efforts.
I'm in school, and especially when that shooting came up, it's kind of scary thinking that that could happen to kids like us. So I thought that we should all have, when people buy guns, it can't be anybody, it has to be someone who's responsible.
Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia led the effort last April with a bipartisan bill along with Republican Pat Toomey. The legislation would have strengthened background checks on gun purchases. It failed the Senate by just 5 votes.
If you can't do it with a background check, how can you do it? And if you can't do it at a background check in a commercial transaction, such as at a gun show or online, then how would you do it? So what we basically took the approach is law-abiding gun owners aren't going to do the wrong thing with a gun. There's nothing wrong with owning a gun for hunting or protection, whatever you want to use it. But law-abiding people won't use it the wrong way.
The gun lobby is a powerful, powerful force, and we know that the last vote on this particular bill lost by 5 votes. That's not a lot of votes. We think that with the power of moms, with the power of kids, with the power of families across the nation, we can make a difference.
Our children have to go to school, and we can't be around them all the time. We can't protect them in any other way than in trying to ensure that the country itself is a safer place. And I think one of the ways to do that is to pass legislation ensuring that background checks are mandatory.
Now, a total of 30 members of Congress were given the keychain along with the storybook, and these kids visited their offices today. In the district, I'm Sonia Srivastava. Back to you in the studio.
And members of the group say they will continue to hold such events until they're satisfied with the nation's gun laws. Well, the Maryland Pesticide Reporting and Information Work Group meets for the first time today. The group will evaluate the latest scientific research, learn about existing data gaps, and address concerns and questions regarding pesticide use in Maryland. It will also make recommendations on how to gather information on insecticides.
In Maryland, there is no mandatory reporting of pesticide use for commercial uses. So we've been trying to pass a bill for several years now requiring non-homeowner use of pesticides to report when and where they're using pesticides so that public health officials, environmental officials have access to that information.
some farmers believe that they are overregulated and it's onerous and sometimes can be very expensive. What we have to do in this work group, which includes farmers and other stakeholders, is balance those competing needs. The need to protect the public, the safety, public welfare of the residents, the folks who vote and who we represent, and the agribusiness community and the farms, and their need to have a regulatory environment that is reasonable and that they can respond to and do so in an effective way so that they can conduct business.
And the work group was authorized this year by the General Assembly. Its final report is due by December 2015. Well, police are searching for 2 suspects who attempted to rob a couple at gunpoint yesterday in Hyattsville. The incident happened about 9:45 last night in the 5600 block of 30th Avenue when a man and woman got out of their car. 2 suspects approached. One displayed a handgun and demanded property. A struggle ensued, and one of the victims gained control of the handgun and shot at the men. Both suspects fled the scene. If you have any information regarding this case, you're asked to contact Hyattsville Police at 301-985-5060. 1 adult male and 2 juveniles are arrested in Prince George's after fleeing from police in the district. The 3 were allegedly involved in an armed robbery in D.C. early yesterday morning. They crossed the district line into Capitol Heights, where they were arrested by county police. All 3 are currently being held in the local jail in Upper Marlboro, awaiting extradition.